All right, we're gonna start kind of like this. So, you on your PC, you'll get signed up. You'll do all that stuff, right? Get in, get your stuff synced up. First thing you want to do, Microsoft Store. Go in here. I hear that stream in the background. So you go to Xbox. You'll download this one. Sign in. Get all synced up. Boom, that's done. Next thing you'll do, go to Windows. Go down and find your Microsoft Edge or whatever, Chrome. Type in GeForce Experience. Go here. You'll download this. It'll install here. You'll run it. It'll download. It'll get you signed in. It's going to bring up this eventually. Look in here. You go here. Check for updates. Let it run. Download. Optimal thing. If you are running, I think it's a 1660 Super and above, you could take advantage of this. So let me see if I can find what it is. If you go to in-game overlay, which you can just enable somewhere in here. When it loads up, I can kind of show you. I don't know if it's gonna for me. Okay, so you can go here, settings. Oh, maybe not here. You can go into here and there's a performance mode. You might have to apply for it. You can use this. Basically, what this is like a overclock for your computer. That's kind of like not overkill that nvidia does through GeForce Experience. Could be useful. It'll just kind of tune itself. It'll go through this process, restart, maybe black out your screen for 2 seconds. If not, leave it off. I don't use it personally. Do this. Go to updates. Check for updates. Obviously have some that I can install. It's just Razer. But you'll run it, install, check it all. Maybe restart your PC. You'll get back signed in, of course. Then you'll get in. You'll have all your stuff synced up. And then a few things just to kind of kick off your PC at kind of like an optimal. So there's graphic settings. You're going to go here. You're going to go turn this on. Restart your PC. Choose as a preference here. I do this for Call of Duty. Some of your higher end games like Fortnite, any of your major games you're going to play, I recommend doing this. Basically what it'll do is it's going to give like more optimization from the PC, both like CPU, GPU, RAM, just kind of give it prioritization to kind of make it perform at a higher level. That way it runs smoother and it gets more of that dedicated usage towards the program itself. Then you're going to go to game mode. I can type game mode settings. Turn this on. Basically, I would just copy all this unless you want to use this, but that's when you would have OBS. You can use another service to, do your captures recording. Even nvidia has one. Game mode. That's graphics if you need to get there through there. Xbox networking. Of course, here's here. You check your stuff here if you really want. You can just use internet speed test. It's not really a point. Turn all this off. Just all of it. And then you're going to want to do startup apps. Now, you could, in theory, just make sure you go one by one, making sure that all these are off, making sure you kind of have prioritization. I think if you just go to apps and features, you can also find them here. Right click. You can modify, so you can set some programs and stuff. There's more that you could do in theory with the apps and stuff. There's another screen you can get to. You can basically just go one by one there. Next thing I'd recommend is, so you go to power. You can go to edit power plan. It'll bring up this menu. You just click change advanced power settings. It's going to bring up this menu. And then you also want to go to power options, which is this screen here. So you want to click on high performance. I'm going to do this to make sure. And then I'm also going to make sure I go here, change advanced, make sure it shows that I'm on the high power. Let's go down to the PCI Express. I make sure this is off here. That's one thing I do. USB processor power management, 100. Active, 100. I have seen people run this at 80 and this at 99, just depending upon like if there were any like crashes or you think there's any like issues there. So you can close that out. Like I said, up here, just make sure you know, this is selected. If I have to do restart, I'll do a restart at the end here. Close this. Don't really need this. Don't save. Okay, that's that. Now you want to come here. This is the NVIDIA control panel. You're going to get it from the store here. So you just go back in here once it loads. Just type in control. Boom. You'll see it right here. Download it. Install it. Start at adjust image settings with preview. Now you want to click on this. Make sure it's on performance. And then use advanced 3D settings. You could, in theory, run this if you were running like a 2080 Super, 3060 Ti, and I think anything up. But you obviously are going to gain more performance, which is FPS and quality. In that aspect, where this is just going to focus quality. Manage 3D settings. I'll take a second, pause here. Sorry about the background again. I'm watching a stream. Okay. And again, this is personal preferences. What I found, I've done a lot of researching, trial, errors. I keep up on it pretty actively, so this could change in the future. But this is just what I have recommended, what I think is like a good, you know, area for FPS performance without having like major issues, of course. Scroll down. Okay. Change resolution. Make sure it's on your native. Make sure you click this if whatever your highest is. If you're running dual monitor, I also recommend clicking on the other one, doing the same thing. PC native, refresh rate. Now, I have other custom color settings to my monitor. I've gone in, and I don't know if you're going to be able to see this. I'll press it anyway. It may not show on stream. It's just my PC, yeah. But if your settings of your monitor typically have color settings, I'd recommend YouTubing it directly your model number, and you can find like what it recommends to change those settings to, like your hue, your aspect ratios, make sure everything's all lined up, make sure it's up to date, color patterns, your blues, your reds, your greens, just kind of adjusting all that. I don't know why it's on red. I should put it on all channels, to be honest with you. It's weird. I'm gonna put this back at 55. I don't know why it was on red. That might actually be why I can't see the gas sometimes. But all channels, make sure you main monitor 50, 55, 1, 70. You could go up to 80. I think 85 is the highest I've seen. Just helps with like, you know, seeing those rose skins or certain like areas of the map when you're playing COD, especially on COD. It kind of affects Fortnite too with the colorblind settings. It will help with just those colors pop. Don't need to really worry about that. Don't really worry about that. Don't need to worry about that. Aspect ratio. Current. Same thing with this monitor. That's what I've run. You can run G-Sync. I don't. You could. Some people do. Some people don't. Personal preference. I don't like it. Set of multiple monitors. This is just kind of stuff you'll do in your desktop settings up here. I'll show you that in a second too if you need it. With the NVIDIA settings, I do full. So where this is at. I may change this a little bit here. Just add some extra color, but I haven't decided yet. This is kind of where these are. Same with this monitor. And then this is what I'm using. You could use this, but I don't really mess with it that much, to be honest with you. So there's all of that as a general. There is display settings here if you're running dual monitor. Kind of check here. Also here. Don't use HDR. Make sure it's all right. Extend these displays if you're going to run dual. Personally, that way you can go from left to right, like my mouse moves like that. There's other stuff you can do. Obviously, you don't really need sounds. And then I'll show you in-game. So I run this as administrator. You can set this up. This just gives BattleNet also prioritization. You'll see here. And as it loads. Now you can go into here. Game settings. There is some prioritization you could do in here, I believe. And then I think as well, there are things you can do with BattleNet. Now I have these. I'll kind of, you could use this and stuff. I don't. I think it's just a useless feature. It just draws too much to BattleNet in that sense. You don't need hardware acceleration, in my opinion. Like, I just don't think it's worth it. You don't really need anything else. Basically that. And then this is my, as of right now, highest FPS that I've seen. There is one more thing I can show you too. I'll pop up quick. Yeah, documents, Call of Duty, players. So I went to just the file down here, documents, Call of Duty Modern Warfare, players, and then this number, 3. I think it's 346. I've heard that this is supposed to be whatever half of your CPU cores is. I tried 4 now. I was on 6 earlier. I'm trying to determine what I like better, whether or not it affects the game or not. So you just hit this number, change it. I'm running 4 now. You could run 6. Technically, there are 8 cores because there are 16 core processors. File save. Close out of that. Go into game here. Sorry if it's loud. I apologize. So, we're in game. That's how it looks now. Graphic settings. I run full screen borderless. There's about maybe like a 5-frame difference if you run full screen. I just like it so I can go left to right without having interruption. Make sure you select your monitor, graphics cards. This should be locked. If you're running full screen borderless, obviously for full screen, whatever your max is, your monitor has is what this should be. You can run this at 100. I've heard that 3080 and 3080s and 3090s, maybe the 6900 XT, don't quote me, can run up to like 120, I think. I don't. I just keep it on 100. It's there. Dynamic, 60, automatic, disabled, unlimited. Now, I'm running unlimited just to do tests so I can benchmark. But typically I run whatever. So my max monitor is refresh rate, which is its hertz. This up here, refresh rate, hertz. It's 144. I always go to 165 at that point. 165, you could probably push anywhere from 185 to 200. And then after that, you really don't need to worry about it because those are just crazy. That's what I run inside everything else. Brightness, no highlights. Now, here's where I've kind of gotten 50-50. I'm also going to test with this. I'm actually going to change this now. I've heard enable plus boost is the best. I know people who run enabled. I actually, last season, before the update, was running disabled, and I think I got more frames. I'm going to test this theory out. 120, lowest I would recommend is 112. I run affected. Personal preference, of course. Camera movement, 50%. Low. I used to run this at normal. But I'm running this at low. I think I'm going to run this also low, because I don't think that's going to be necessary. I'm just trying to see about FPS, but typically normal. I always run this on high. You could run this on normal. I don't recommend it. I don't use it. It's up to you. It's all about the frames. You might gain more. I just like how it looks here, and I'm willing to lose like maybe 3 to 4 frames. Low, disabled, disabled, disabled. This should be off. I don't know why that's on. Do not run this, no matter your internet at all. Not worth it. Not worth it. You can always do a restart on your shaders here. Just to bring up the screen. Just do a little fresh restart. Kind of bring out if you see there's any glitching or any tearing or anything. Dynamic strength, I run 1.0. I see people who run it at 0. I'm also going to test this theory out here. Some people run this at a 0. I run it at 0.25 just because I saw someone that ran it like this and it looked a little bit cleaner in a sharpness sense. Disabled. I run this at off. This is because I don't care about the jaggedness and it's more frames. I would say maximum is SMA 1 times though. 100%. Disabled, disabled, disabled. Low, enabled, enabled, low, disabled, disabled, disabled. And that, I think, is going to be the best FPS that you can get, in a sense. From any, there are a few things here and there that you could tweak. There are a few other little hidden features. That's when you're kind of getting the real nitpicky of it. I have done those things as well. I probably, doing those extra few, maybe 30 minutes to an hour steps have only gained me like 10 to 13 frames. You could, in theory, also, there's BIOS stuff you can change. I don't fuck with the BIOS. I'm lazy. Obviously, XMP profiles and stuff, and then there's some like hardware acceleration you can do, but I don't really like messing with the BIOS stuff because, you know, if you were in theory to F up anything in there, that's your whole like motherboard, which affects CPU, just could really cause damages. So, but yeah, that is about everything that I can think of.